Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Art Side of Life. I'm Eva, and this is another compilation video from various interviews. And in this episode, we will talk about favorite art books. So if you are wondering maybe which art books you should check out or other books you should just get as an artist, this video is for you. And before we get to the interview, I would like to thank Astropad for sponsoring this video, because with Astropad you can use your iPad Pro as a wireless graphics tablet for your Mac. And I especially enjoy it with Photoshop or Illustrator because I already created so many brushes, like texture brushes, fur brushes, and if you already have them, why not to use it on iPad Pro, right? So if you want to check out Astropad as well, you can get 10% discount for the studio licenses, and you can just go to artsideoflife.com/astropad and get 10% discount with the discount code ARTSIDE. And now let's just get to the interview part.
Yeah.
And can you also recommend us some books maybe you like or what you learned from?
From art, you mean, or any book?
It can be also a life book if you like that.
Yeah.
Or like a storybook or something.
No, yeah, I'm such a fan of storybooks. Like, I love short stories, and I try to read one story at least a day, because that keeps the magic, I think. So I'm such a fan of Peter Pan, of the book mainly. I love it, like the way he writes and everything is just absolutely great. And Neil Gaiman, it's one of my favorite writers. I love Ocean at the End of the Lane and all his short stories. I have all of them and I reread them. They're just great. And I love poetry so much. I love reading all these beat poets and Gary Snyder, for example, and his trips to the mountains and see how he saw like nature and stuff. I love Dickens. I don't know, all stories that have magic but also some kind of values in them. Mm-hmm. I love. And then in terms of art, anything. I love all these animation books that they do from the movies because I like seeing the processes and everything. Also, illustrated books I love because like you see one person's journey along one book. And I'm such a fan of Benji Davis lately. He's great. Emily Hughes I like so much. I don't know, so many. And also going back to the stories, I love going to different parts of the world and then trying to get like local stories. Like, hang on, I got this from my last trip to Nepal. I found this in like a little bookstore. It's like Tales from Nepal, and it's like about demons and like their thoughts and their stories, what they had in the past. And I really love that because that gives you such a fresh view of somewhere. Because for someone, that's the main thing that they've always heard of. But for you, it's like so different.
And
so
like refreshing and like different legends. And that sounds great.
So yeah, I love that. And that's one of the things that I would love to have a big collection of. Like go places and get each tales from everywhere and like get them. So yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, nice. Or you can write your own like stories where you travel and then people tell you stuff and illustrate it. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, I do that sometimes.
Nice. And do you maybe also have like a favorite book you give as a present to your like creative friends or something?
I have a couple of books here that I can just quickly go over because I think they're all really cool.
Perfect.
But so many,
it's like a big pile.
Yes. Well, I just show a couple of them. I think this one is really cool. It's not even directly related to art. It's called The Art of Learning. But I think, beside just the technical part of drawing, as a freelancer or also, just as an artist, you go through a mental process as well. And I think this is really a great book that deals with the process of learning. So that's really cool. The Talent Code, I like that. It's really read. Because, have you read it?
No, this one, no. Oh. But the learning book I had, yeah.
Yes, cool. Yeah, this one is about as artist, I often got, wow, you're so talented, and people reply, well, I could never do that, I can't draw. And this book really says the opposite. Well, greatness isn't born, it's grown. That's the subtitle of the book, and it really has some great points, I think, about the myth of talent, and that it's so much about just putting in the work, because there may be a difference in the abilities we have, but you will never know until you put in all the hours and effort how far you can get. So well, that's interesting too. This one I love. This is Dream Worlds. It has some great information on production design for animation.
Oh, perfect.
This one is really great for painters. Alla Prima is really a great book. This one is really cool. The Animator Survival Kit, probably well known by anyone who deals with animation. This one is great about movie. Yeah, well, this is film directing, but it's really interesting. It's a little technical maybe, but it just as an introduction to filmmaking, really.
So
cool.
Shot by shoot, right? Yeah.
Shot by shot, yeah, by Stephen Katz. This is a nice book. Vivian Meyer. There's a documentary about her, which is really cool. It's she took these photos and nobody even knew about her, and they just, after she died, they found all these photos, but they are really, really amazing. It's a beautiful storytelling, compositions. It's really inspiring. Well, I have to show this one, of course, John Singer Sargent.
Yes,
for everyone who loves painting. Well, there's just too much. Well, this one maybe, Drawn to Life.
Yes, also one of my favorites.
Really cool for gestural drawing. Those are notes by Walt Stanchfield. And well, no, I have much more, but those are all really interesting books.
Oh, perfect. We can put it also in the show notes, so everyone in the audience can check it out. And I have some new books to add to my list as well. Because,
cool.
So cool. So you have some, I don't have some. Like, yeah.
Well, that's good, right?
Perfect. Definitely, yeah, because it's always nice to read more and find out more tools and how we can progress. So when you mentioned books, do you have favorite books you would give as a gift to people, or something maybe to learn from as well?
I have a few favorite books. Used to be a very big fan of the Artemis Fowl series. It's I don't know, someone will probably hear this and go, yeah, I used to be a fan of that. That's such a long time ago. I want to reread those books again. Harry Potter series, also the classic fantasy stuff, but my all-time favorite has been Inkheart. The Inkheart series is so good, and the way that it really encapsulates my childhood for me, because it was an escape from the real world, and the book is literally about escaping from the real world in a lot of ways. So I don't know, that's kind of something that I think back about when I'm okay, what kind of artist do I want to be? What kind of stories would I want to tell with my artwork? Because I don't know, for some reason I always think that I have to tell a story someday, even though I'm not a story artist and I'm just a concept artist that does pretty stuff. I think back about that sort of stuff and I'm okay, if I wanted to do something that was meaningful, it would probably be that, because it had such a big impact on me and my childhood when I was younger.
Because as you said, also you always think about stories when you're creating your characters anyway, kind of why they are wearing their outfit or their pose or whatever.
Yeah, you have to draw.
And we talked about some book references before the recording. If you can mention some of your favorite either art books or life books you like.
No, and I noticed on your interviews that you, which I think it's pretty cool for the entire community to know about references. So I did my homework and I have my top 5 here.
Perfect.
So this is number one, probably. You know this book?
Yeah, and I think actually a lot of guests are mentioning exactly this book, so this is like one of the top favorites of everyone, seems like.
Yeah, no, it's this thing is magical. Thank you, James Gurney. And color and light. It's the best in general for painting and illustration and art in general. This thing is like the Bible. It's the starting and the end. There's not a day that I don't go into this book finding an answer for a question that I might have.
Perfect.
And so this would be like the first one. I don't know if you know this one. Figure and Drawing, Design and Invention by Michael Hampton.
Yeah, I know it, but I don't have this one yet.
Okay, talking about anatomy, this is the best one there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I have the Drawn to Life, which is kind of similar approach.
Similar.
Do you know?
Yeah, similar. What I like about this book is the way it's structured in terms of the analysis of the human body and how it simplifies and synthesizes the idea of shapes and balance and proportions. But also something that some of the anatomy books from a few years back, I think, didn't have, which is the notion of dynamics from the very start of the composition.
The action line and the composition, exactly, everything. Yeah.
Number 2. So this is number 3, Framed Ink by Marco Mateus Mestre.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect for comic books or any other layouts, yeah.
And I know my top 5, it's probably general top 5, but it doesn't matter.
But that's great. Yeah, this book I also love.
Yeah, composition-wise is the best, and also being practical and elegant about composition.
Yeah, definitely. So Framed Ink.
Number 4 would be Drawing Animals by Joe Waterley.
Mm-hmm. Perfect, yeah.
I saw his class on CDA. In terms of composition, very similar to the other book, the second book I mentioned about anatomy. But I love creature design.
Yeah.
And if you have a basic good knowledge about animal anatomy, you have everything you need for creature design. So this would be number 4. And number 5 is this one that I got recently, Designing Creatures and Characters.
Oh, perfect. I don't have this one yet.
I think it came out this year. And this book is amazing because it's a full-on workshop. And it will have like, it has like this guide, and it will give you like rewards as you do the assignments.
Oh, cool.
And you can be like super disciplined about the assignments or do it like halfway. And they'll be like, you did okay. Next time you can do better. The structure of the book is super crazy, but if you're into concept art and world building, really good one.
So we will put all the links in the show notes on the website under this interview. So yeah, everyone in the audience can find it. But thank you so much for sharing. It's really great to have this like overview of like the favorite books, because then people can choose like, okay, do I like this book or do I want to improve in this area?
Right. No, it's the important thing.